Hey everyone, welcome to It Tastes Different Game Reviews. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Tales of Arise. Tales of Arise is developed by Bandai Namco Studios and published by Bandai Namco Entertainment. Oh my gosh. And it came out on September 10th of 2021. And it came out on Windows, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, and Series X and S. It's a single-player action role-playing adventure JRPG. I think hopefully everyone is familiar with the Tales series of RPGs. Most of them, I would say majority of them are pretty decent JRPGs. There are some that, for me personally, haven't been all that great. But this one is the newest installment of that series. So we'll go around and see what everybody thinks of this game, what their thoughts were. Hey, Patrick, how about you?
It's Tales. If you've played, no, I'm just kidding. If you played Tales, you should know this one. I mean, the combat's changed up just a little bit, and they've added some new, what I would say, quality of life features to this series. This series deals with a pretty, touchy subject of slavery, so that's kind of an interesting change for them instead of being all the flowery, storyline. So, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed this one, but I like the Tales series. I'm a huge fan of Tales, but they're huge time sinks. I've only been able to put I'm thinking about 28 or 30 hours into it. So, and I still got another at least 15 hours left to go, probably. Depending on how much time I take to get to where I need. I did all my grindy stuff in the beginning, so now I should be able to power through the story and go to the end game stuff. But for me, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I just can't get enough time. That's the whole bad thing about Tales and any JRPG is just getting time. Combat's really good. Combat's really fun. It took me a little bit to get used to it. I had to remap my controls. But other than that, I've ran through pretty solid amount of gameplay. Like I said, it's just under 30 hours, so I'm enjoying it. Shane, how about you, man?
It's just like all the other Tales, except for I think it has improved upon all the other Tales. What was Tales of Vesperia, the last one? Is that right? Can't remember. But it's definitely better than that one.
Vesperia wasn't the last one, I don't believe. But
no, what?
No,
it's the last one I played. But anywho, the game is fantastic. It's a real surprise that I like this one that much more than the Vesperia, the last one I played. And I was kind of worried because Vesperia was good, but it wasn't great, but it was really good. But this one's so much better. There is a lot to this game now. Like Pat said, and I believe we all probably did except for Nick because he's a masochist. We remapped our buttons because the button layout in this game is atrocious. I don't know who came up with the ideal of this button layout, but damn, that was rough. I tried it, couldn't do it, had to remap it. But luckily, the game is smart enough to, during the tutorial stuff, give you the remapped button for said tutorial. So if it teaches you to do this thing, it's going to show you the button that you change it to. So that's perfect. Characters are fantastic. Like Pat said, this one's a little bit on the darker story side. It deals with slavery and all that stuff. So it's not fluff piece, that's for sure. It's fantastic. I'll get more into it. Let's go to Russ. Russ, what do you think, bud?
Well, actually, I didn't change my button mapping. I got used to it pretty quickly. It was kind of odd, but I'm starting to expect that from Bandai Namco. It seems like every game they give us, it's some crazy layout or some weird, strange layout for the controller. Maybe that's their way of switching up a game because this is a pretty basic Bandai Namco game, in my opinion. I have never played a Tales series game. This is my first one. And my gosh, it's a lot more interactive than I initially thought. I am not 30 hours in. I'm about 12. I've gotten just about to the first boss. And the reason why I played 12 hours and only gotten to the first boss is because I literally went back and through and back and forth and back and didn't realize some of the map features. It took me a little while to figure out the fast travel and stuff like that. So a little bit embarrassed on that end. but the storyline at least has me very much engaged. I will be playing this game to completion. It may take me 3 years, but I'll still do it. The storyline's got me very much pulled into it, and I do like the combat system. I've kind of gotten spoiled with turn-based, and so sometimes when we get these kind of normal combat games or combat-driven RPG, it's a little bit different, but at the same time, it really flows. Getting the parry down may take you a little bit, but once you get that down, it's almost easy mode in some cases. But in any case, Nick, let's hear you. What do you think?
Yeah, like Patrick, I played a lot of the Tales games, and this is by far one of my one of the ones I like the most. There's a lot that I do really like, and this is definitely up there with one of the ones I really like. I think this is the best Tales game to date. The stuff they reworked with the combat and just kind of the quality of life features they put into the game really helped out the Tales series. It kind of needed that uplifting, the uplift to the game, and they really did good job with that. And the graphics look great. I mean, the environments and everything are nice and lush and open, and it's a great game. It's got a lot of stuff to do, man. There is so much in this game. It's definitely worth the money if you want a big RPG, because there is a ton to do. There's side jobs out the yin yang and hidden monsters and dungeons and weapons and armor sets and all sorts of crap. I mean, there's just tons of stuff and lots of RP if you really enjoy that RP. And most of it is, I would say 90% of it's voice acted. The only thing that's not is like the sub quests and stuff, but all the mainline story quests and various things like that are all voice acted. So you can just sit back and watch the voice acting. And of course, in the Tales series, they also do the awesome anime videos that they have in there where they fully drawn out anime cutscenes and stuff that they do sometimes. And I wish Tales had more of those because I love those. But they do have them, and they sprinkle them in here and there. So when you get one, you're like, ooh, all right, I can watch this. This is cool, because it's drawn really nicely. It looks like an awesome anime that they could make. So yeah, I mean, ultimately this game, I got about a little over, I think over 40 hours into it so far. And, the main quest, the main story is still going. This is definitely one I'm going to complete. It's just, I was hoping to get it completed before the podcast, but man, it's just a long game. So, this game is $60 on the Xbox. I'm not sure if PS5, is it 70 on PS5? I'm not sure, but
it depends on if you get which one of the modes you get, I believe.
Oh, okay. So, but regardless, it's definitely worth the money. I mean, you're going to get your full RPG out of this. I mean, they don't skimp on anything. This isn't Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1. This is the fully fledged thing, here. So, yeah, it's an awesome game. You can't go wrong with the Tales series most of the time, and this one for sure, you can't go wrong with.
Yeah, the art style was like the first thing I believe I told you. It was you, Pat. I was like, man, that art style is gorgeous and typically I don't like cell shading, but with what they've done in this game is just gorgeous. From the character models to the world, to the monsters is all fantastic. But the anime clips that they do, I'm a huge anime fan, and that crap is awesome, just awesome to watch.
And they only get better. It's like it's like your own little private weekly shonen, Yep. You got your little weekly, and they break down and they're very rare in the game though. I will say though, one of the things that gets to me though is it's becoming popular in games is this storyboard style voiceover thing, and I'm really getting annoyed with it because to me it's kind of the cheap way of doing it. You don't have to put out an animated scene. You can just do storyboard cells with mouths moving that somewhat don't match, and so that's my only complaint about the game. The game has been solid bulletproof. I mean, I've not had any bugs on it. It's not shut down. I've not ran into any issues. My only complaint is that, I'm a little over the storyboard style thing. I mean, every game, seems like every JRPG we played over the last year and a half to 2 years has done that. I mean, it's just they just slide in the story, and it's just like slowly going down with people talking. They slide in all the pieces to fit together. So I mean, that to me is getting a little bit old. I'd rather see a fully played out scene. But what I do like is that they do take into consider your costume choices. So whatever you put your people in, they show up in the cutscenes.
Yeah, that's one thing I require in any RPG, especially an RPG. What I am wearing better show up in every damn thing I see. I hate that. Just hate it.
Yeah. It's got a lot, as Nick had mentioned. There's so much in this game to do. There's so many weapons. There's so many armor. And just like any Tales game, the armor skins are kind of a rare. They're not as I'd much rather see much more variation in the armor skins, because you get a lot of different armor, but you actually don't ever get to see what that armor looks like, because all you're doing is looking at the skin of the armor that you get. And there's only a few for each character. You can download them and pay for them, but I'm not doing that. You can download the swimsuits and all that kind of crap, and I'm not about that. I'd just rather play the game in the way it was intended. But there is a lot to do. I mean, you got to find all the Hooters, find all the little.
You said swimsuits and Hooters?
Yeah, swimsuits and Hooters.
So with this game, does all the other Tales, do they have that ability to set your party to have certain initiatives and stuff like that? Have all the Tales previously done that? Did you guys do that, or did you guys? I mean, because there was a way to kind of switch characters as well, or do you play with the main character pretty much the whole time?
I switched at first. I switched when you got your second character, without pulling names. I switched back and forth for a little bit. Then I was like, well, she's better than I am, so I'm just going to let her do her thing. And that's worked perfect for me. I mean, my gameplay style is probably different than everybody else. So I didn't do any switching after that.
I didn't do any switching neither, because the NPC has the full access to the entire the arts that you don't have. You can only have like 3 in the beginning. You have 3, and then it splits, and you can get 6. So you have 6 ground and 6 air arts. But the NPCs that you don't control have access to the entire repertoire that you've trained for them. So I usually let them be, because they have a whole slew of crap that I couldn't possibly map. Because I mean, trying to keep track of 6 of them is hard enough as it is. And Russ, I don't know how the hell you play with the little claw thing. I don't know how you guys do that. That's super annoying to me when I first started playing it.
Oh, definitely. The one thing that I do like about the art system is, so if you're you can set up to be, your characters to primarily defense, primarily heal, primarily attack, whatever. I left mine basically on the 50-50, protect me, kick some ass while you're out there. But you can turn off certain arts too for the sub characters. So the ones that are basically kind of null and void, because they've upgraded or they unlocked so many better ones, you can get, just turn those off. You don't have to worry about the lesser arts, which I liked, because, if you leave them on, then they'll randomly throw out an art that was, from the very beginning of the game, which is kind of worthless on a level 20 character.
All damage scales, so it doesn't matter. The lower arts and the higher arts, all the damage scales with the weapons and stuff they're using. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. I left them all access to everything, and it's pretty wild to see what freaking goes on in the battlefield half the time. You're like, what is this? Oh my God, he just learned something new, and it was like this huge cutscene that happened. And I'm like, oh yeah. So it's definitely
you get those tutorials for the first 30 hours of the game. You're getting a new tutorial on how to do something new the entire time. That's probably my biggest gripe with the series is I can't keep up remembering all these different things. Like you could push up on the D-pad in battle to do one thing, out of battle to do 20 other things. There's a lot going on.
That's Bandai Namco, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
and don't
just
forget,
what they
if you
do.
pull down the left trigger, it accesses another set of buttons for everybody else.
That's
and you
right.
gotta remember too, it's everyone has their certain way that they disable enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it's trying to teach you in the tutorial. Like if you're up against a certain type of enemy, you can break them by using the boost that particular character has. such as like, one that maybe can break through hard things, or one that can maybe trip up really fast enemies, stuff like that. So that's just what those tutorials teach you once you start getting new characters and stuff. But I didn't change my controller layout either, Russ. I got used to it as well. I got used to it. It was fine.
You guys are nuts.
It wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad once you just got it. What my biggest issue was, when you have your arts, your specific arts, I found myself on occasion spamming one of the arts. It just took me a minute to reset and realize, okay, your generic attack is RB. That's what it just took me a minute, because I'm wanting to generic with X. And after I got done with
that's
that,
why I remapped it.
Yeah.
I remapped the entire I mapped the whole entire controller. I mean, I put artist 1 as LB, artist 2 as RB, artist 3 as RT, and then I did X as my main attack, and A is jump, and Y was, I can't remember, and then B was the dodge. I remapped that sucker quick, everything, because I could not, because it has you attacking with this, and then it has you dodging with this, and I'm like, nah, screw this, I'm not quick enough to do this. So I'm busy, mashing my thumbs, and then it was just easier for me. And then LT allows to get to the second layer ability. So arts 4, 5, and 6, and then companions 4, 5, and so it lets me get to those guys quicker. So yeah, that's why I said I couldn't do it. I could not. I can't. I'm not a claw gamer. I can't do this.
Yeah, I didn't set mine quite like that, but I mean, virtually the same, except for I kept my arts on YB and right bumper. I kept my dodge on my left trigger because, just so many first person shooters I play, I use that figure a lot. So it was really worth it for me to do that. I don't know how you guys got accustomed to that, though. I mean, I tried because I didn't want to remap because I was worried about the tutorial stuff. Not reflecting that. Then I'm trying to remember, okay, this button is this button is that. But man, if you guys did it, more power to you.
Yeah, it didn't take very long for me to get used to it.
So you're a claw gamer now, Nick?
I'm what is that? Where you can do multiple things.
Ambidextrous.
There you go.
With one finger or two? Are you 2-fingering it or 1-fingering it, Nick?
One.
Which one's indistinct?
See, I don't even have to take my finger, I'm just constantly hammering that button. So I don't know. And then to get the perfect dodge out, it's just, that seems like too much for me. It was too much for me. I had to remap all of it. Like I said, I remapped my entire controller. But
that's what almost got me to remap it, was the perfect dodge, because I could not get the perfect dodge, because that initiates certain things if you get that perfect dodge. And I'm like, that's the only thing that's got me thinking about remapping. I still haven't done it, but it's just because I'm trying to get gameplay in, and I don't have time to sit there and remap it. I'm just trying to get some game time in.
Yeah, overall, this game is just, it really is more of a surprise hit to me than I was really expecting. Like I said, I enjoyed the last Tales game I did. I didn't, rave on it. I didn't love it, but I damn sure didn't hate it. But this one here, it's just got so much going for it. And it is definitely worth the 60 you drop on it. 70 if you're on PlayStation. I don't know. Did you ever see that, Pat?
Yeah, it's still 60. So they don't have a split version on PlayStation.
Yeah, that's good. But I think $60 for this game is well worth the price. I'm a little disappointed with their DLCs, though. I mean, I don't know. They seem cash grabby.
That's Bandai for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to have something in there, right?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Costumes,
it seems
costumes and more costumes.
Yeah, and they're not even, they're not even like cool game-oriented costumes. A lot of them are just, TNA costumes. And if I want to watch TNA on the screen, well, I'll watch TNA on the screen. I don't want to pay $1.99 for a bikini.
Right. I want the cool armor. I want the cool armors and everything. Yeah. That's what I want to see. So,
yeah, but exactly.
But I feel that that's kind of a rarity in the game, outside of I would say that outside of those cosmetic items. So we're talking like cat ears and cat tails and butterfly wings and crap like that. The actual armor skins are kind of a rarity. I've only ran across a few for each character, and I'm like, And then they skin that same armor like 10 times. Like, here's a black one, here's a red one, here's a gold one, here's a blue one. And I'm like, So, but it's a great game. Gameplay is awesome. I love it. The combat's pretty good. The combat is difficult without being too difficult, if that makes sense. It's got the right amount, in my opinion, it's got the right amount of hardness to it, because there's times where I burn through an entire inventory of crap to take down an enemy, and you're like, I'm going to take it. I'm not going to reload it so I can get all my crap back. So I'm like, I'm going to take the win.
Yeah, orange gels and pineapple gels are a precious commodity.
Yeah, especially the damned orange ones.
Yeah, the ones that recharge CP. Those ones are like worth their weight in
and
gold.
They're expensive as crap
yeah.
too. So it's like,
yes, they are.
Yeah,
hold on to them like sacred.
Yeah, I mean, I got like almost 600 CP, and I burn through that crap like crazy sometimes.
Yeah, it doesn't take long to get through it.
Especially if you don't dodge enough and you just take too much damage. Because I kind of left in the beginning. I left my NPCs because I had a full party of full NPCs, and I ran into a boss that would AOE around him, and that's when I remapped what my NPCs did, because for a long time I would stay out and I'd watch him, and he would cast a fireball on himself, and they're all just standing around like a bunch of idiots beating on him, and he kills them in one hit, and I'm like, all right, I'm changing your tactics, you idiots. You're all just going to stand there like a bunch of kids in a pickup group and just beat on the boss. So that's what got me to remap that. That's all they did. They just stood around the dragon one time, and I watched them fire a fireball, and just whoosh, and it took both of them out. And I'm like, you idiots. So that got me to change their behavior, but it took a while before I got to that point.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Big Poison Monster. He would just drop a big glob of green on himself and everything around him. Here I'm like, dodging out of the way, and what's her face? Patoo. She's like glowing green, just still going patoo with her little magic shit. Patoo. It's like, no, baby, get out of the green stuff.
I think that's the biggest frustration I've got right now, is that I've seen some of those boss fights, but I haven't gotten to a really good one yet. I've gotten to the minis, which are, they're not that difficult. That very first mini boss was really basic. Of course, they're going to do that in that first mini boss, but I'm excited to see what those boss fights are like, because one of the ones I watched, it did kind of remind me of that old MMO feel of like dodge, hit, dodge, do stuff like that. So, I'll get there. It does look, it is a gorgeous game, and it is actually an RPG that we've been kind of waiting for a little bit too, I think. At least in my opinion, since Yakuza.
Right. And if you love RP, this is your game, man. There's a lot of it. Like, you can RP at campsites, you can RP while walking through the forest or the desert, wherever you are. People want to talk about their trials and tribulations. It is a Tales game, obviously. You have to have Tales. So yeah, every time you think about it, there's a RB shoulder button pop up to have a conversation while you're running through the woods or something, and then right before you camp, you can talk with people to increase your I don't know what they call it, but it's basically your affection with them. It increases how much they like you and stuff like that. So every time you camp. But you can't camp back to back to get away from those. I tried that. I'm like, oh my God, I got a bunch of chat bubbles popped up. I'm just going to camp back and forth. And I camped and I got out and I was like, I'll talk to this person. Oh, crap. You can only do it once every so many hours or whatever.
Yeah. So. Now, before we go, has anybody done all the conversations up to the point they're at? Because I've done them all, and I've enjoyed them. It's some of them are kind of, typical, nonsensical stuff. And some of them are, have a little more depth to them. I've enjoyed every one of them that I've gotten so far. And there is a crap load of them. Crap load.
There's an achievement to witness 300 skits. So, and
you can do that in the first 2 hours.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
At this point, probably about maybe 24 hours in, I got to the point to where a lot of the side stuff, I'm like, I'm done. The main story, I've not done that too. But a lot of the main story part is super important. It won't let you skip anyway. So you can't skip through that stuff. So, but a lot of the side stuff, I've gotten to the point where I'm like quick reading. I'm just like not even listening to him talk. I'm like, okay, just that. Okay. So I'm just kind of fast traveling that stuff because it gets a lot.
Yeah. I've started every time.
Yeah.
I read through it, right? I just read ahead of what they're saying, and then I skip it to the next frame because I'm like, I'm tired of listening. Like, it takes so long for them to voice act the part, I can read through it faster.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to read it real quick and skip the frames until it's over with.
Yeah, because it seems like every new area you open up, there's like 5 conversations that need to be had as soon as you walk into a new area. You're like, all right, what's this and this one? Okay, that's that one. So there's like every new area you walk into, like, wow, this is a mighty thick forest. Wow, this is a pretty barren desert. Well, I know this. I could see this. You don't got to tell me it, you know?
Oh, yeah. I had a 10-minute conversation about snow. That's like, come on.
Wait till you start talking about food, and that's all the one chick ever wants to talk about is food. So you're like, oh my God, I'm done talking about food.
And for, not to give anything away, which I'm sure you could easily find, it's not really a spoiler, but for all you out there that love fishing, there is fishing in the game. So
unfortunately, you need to make it about 24 hours in.
Yeah, you got to make it quite a ways in, but I mean,
so 2023, mid 2023, we'll get there.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole, the fishing mini game is a whole thing. I mean, you get lures and rods, and there's a ton of place to fish at, and
the fish are a pain in the ass.
It's all its own mini game. It's all its own game, and it's in a game, really. But
tons to explore, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's not the maps are kind of linear, but you can see where it goes off the beaten path, and that's how you find those big monsters that are off the beaten path and stuff. So if you like exploration, good for you, because that's where you find a lot of the high-end armor that you can't even buy. So I thoroughly enjoyed this game, and I think it's worth $60 of my time. I would have probably even bought the deluxe version if I was thinking about it. But I don't know what you get, so probably wasn't worth it anyway if I did that.
Probably a bikini.
Yeah, definitely worth the price. I mean, we got it on Game Pass, but definitely worth the price.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it wasn't Game Pass.
No, this is a pay for.
Yeah,
so I need to buy the next one. That's what we're saying on live, well, on recorded television.
Yeah. This one was a pay for, not a Game Pass, unfortunately, but it was definitely worth the $60 pay for it. So
it was definitely worth Patrick $60.
It was worth Shane's. I think Shane bought this one.
Yep, this one was me, and it was actually this was Pat and Russ. Thanks for the birthday cards. But no, game was fantastic, and I'm going to continue through it because it's just one of those games you really do have to finish because it's such a driver all the way through with the story. So I'm excited to keep on keeping on.
Yeah, you invest so much time, for me personally, I'm sure Patrick and everyone else here, you have so much time invested in it so far. It's like, I can't just put it down. I got to complete it and do everything in there. I've already spent this much time with it, to just set it aside, especially because it's such a great game.
It could be hard to start the next one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Does anybody else have anything else they want to add to this?
Pick it up if you like JRPGs.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the Tales series, for sure pick it up. If you're a fan of JRPGs, for sure pick it up. So 2 win-wins on you if you like RPGs or the Tales series or both. But anywho, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you check out the game. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notifications to keep up to date on new videos that we put out. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time. Bye-bye.
See ya.